Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's safe and well. Welcome to Speak and Recover. And today's topic is freedom of choice. And I come upon this because it's often just like a daily reading that I do, and it was about the freedom of choice and choosing who I want to be, and the question that I wanted to be asking myself, or what I got asked when I was like growing up, was, who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? How do you, what do you want to do? And then having this choice, and it made me think about certain things in my life and what I'd come up to that day. Because when I sat and I read that reading, and I remember always having this sort of expectation that I have to be somebody, or I have to be doing something in order to feel somewhat significant within inside myself. And like, who do you want to be? And like all my life, to be honest, up to like recently and going into this stage of spiritual development along my journey, I've always had this overwhelming sense of this feel, or this need to sort of know exactly what I want to be doing, or know exactly who I want to be. And it's just a condition that sort of fell away as my spirituality sort of blossomed. But we can find ourselves in this situation again. It's like, who do I want to be? And when I sat and I meditated upon that question of who I wanted to be, I didn't have this overwhelming sense of being somebody. I had to sort of realise that all my life, or the majority of my life growing up from a very young age, I was always sort of pre-programmed, or sort of had this inclination that I wanted to dress like him, and I wanted to be a good writer like him, and I wanted to have the house that he had, and I wanted his job, and I wanted his car, and I wanted to dress like he did. And it was always like I'd take these snippets of like people that I desired, and sort of like trying to build this self-image, and not really thinking about it, because that's how I thought I was meant to be, But when I sort of got to this stage of my life of being 34 and going down this spiritual path, I slowly started to realise that I didn't have to actually be anybody. I'd always chased this discomfort. I'd always chased this idea of, I want to look like that, or I need to look like this, or if I had that, that would make me feel like this about myself. I.e. the job, the car, the house, the relationship, the clothes, the money, the wealth, covering up, whatever else, or the insecurities which lie underneath that. But when I woke up this morning and I read that, who do I want to be? That wasn't there anymore. And I wanted to explain to something why. Because we can still be confused of who I'd like to be, or who I'd want to be, and as I said, we've been completely bypassing the actual essence of what this video is about. The essence of this video is that I don't need to become anybody. I already am. I don't need to be or do anything. I already am. And when did just being me, just me, stop being enough? When did I have to make me more advanced, or have this idea that I had to be better, when I'm already good enough? I'm already me. Just imagine how much time I would have saved if I'd have just fell in love with who I am, who I want to be, in that unique manner of being me. I don't want to be like John. I don't want to speak like Dave. I don't want to act like Harry. I want to be me. Just imagine how much time And imagine how perfect I could actually do that. Because when I'm constantly trying to be like somebody else or look at what everyone else is doing and want to apply that to my life, I'm not being authentic. I'm using other people's ideas of their authenticity, and they're probably copying off somebody else anywhere. So basically I end up this like pre-programmed machine that dresses like everybody else, talks like everybody else, acts like everybody else, behaves like everybody else, when really what I'm really seeking is none of that. What I want to be is me. Now, when I was asked as a young child, who do I want to be when I grow up, and I just had that, and I'd been taught into that frame of mind of going, I want to be me. I want to be the best version of me when I grow up. That's what I want to be. I want to live out my human experience to the best of my ability, not based on what I think is okay or what other people expect me to be. And you know, as I've gone through a 12-step program, as I've gone through this healing process, as I've stopped or changed my lifestyle around certain things and gone down this spiritual side of my life and stopped looking outside of me for the things that are causing me discomfort or harm in my life, and started to look within and started to really dig deep on this emotional level and sort of like look at my identity of who I really am, and sort of like fall in love with that thing of what makes me me. I've slowly realised not who I want to be, but I have now freed myself from who I thought I needed to be. Now that in itself is very powerful. You know, once I remove this idea of who I think I need to be, then I can then sort of like be presented with this opportunity of like now discovering who I can become, or who I pure self-expression, the purest form of self-expression, because that's what life is really all about. You expressing yourself in your true nature. That's what the experience of spirituality means. Not acting as if, not doing something because someone else is doing it, whether it be good or look cool or look spiritual. You know, like, I'm going to wear them spiritual clothes because I feel them spiritual clothes look cool on that spiritual person, so I'm going to act and talk and dress like them. You know, that's not what spirituality is for me. Spirituality is my purest form of self-expression, regardless of what other people think of me, of their opinions. And this is what I've learned, like, who do I want to be? Because this is like this is a question that I can frequently ask myself. I'm me. I'm always going to be me, regardless of what I do, regardless of the education that I have, regardless of my experience. I'm always going to be me. And isn't that just enough? Isn't being me, or just you being you, is that when you realise that that's just, it's more than you could ever want. And then when you fall in love with that idea that I am me, flawed in my human skin, having a nice experience or this opportunity to live life in this very short period of time on earth, love and empathy and understanding start to take a role and a play in a part of life in which I'm connected to and I feel part of. I feel in sync with life, you know, and I don't have this overwhelming expectation of who I should be or how I should look or how I should talk or what I should have in order to put this label on myself which will read successful. I hope this has got to you on the level beyond mind and more of a deep-seated sense of the witness within that never changes. Keep striving to be your true authentic self, because that's who you will always, and that's who you've always desired to be. Don't be fooled by conditionings or this idea that somebody else's idea was something that you needed to follow. I spent half of my life trying to fit in, and then I realised that I was never meant to. Stay blessed, guys. Love you all.